I read 60 books in January, so let's attempt to speedrun this. Before any think pieces get made, 53 out of these 60 books were in comic format. I started January by reading the finale book to the manga My Love Mix-Up, and I was so sad finishing this. These characters have become comfort characters, and I didn't want to say goodbye. I also read the finale book to the manga I Think Our Son Is Gay, and this was also such a warm finale. I think there's room to add another, but honestly, I like where we've left off. I also really appreciate that the author still gave agency to the son in navigating his own identity. Then I read all 10 installments to A Business Proposal and then binge watched the entire K-drama with my sister. This was so much fun, and it was also my first manhwa. This was everything to me, but I do have beef with the storyline and also with the K-drama adaptation because of two separate but like intrinsically connected things. In the original comic story, there's this character who is the love of my life. That is my wife. Love her. For some reason, she was given a boyfriend. I don't know why. That is a lady kisser if I ever saw one, so it felt very like a lie. But what I take personally is that this character doesn't even exist in the K-drama. All creators involved in all of the versions decided to attack me specifically. But no, it was really good, and so is the K-drama. Everything about it is so good. Then I read all 11 installments of Romance 101, and this is in my like top favorites because this managed to fill a gap that My Love Mix-Up left. Something that the two stories have in common is its humor. The illustrators for both stories do this thing where they will have their characters make the most hideous, heinous, disgusting faces ever and make them really, really expressive. And it's just so much fun. I was laughing out loud often. And it's just a warm, sweet slice of life story of like these college kids. And I got so attached, and I, again, did not want to say goodbye. Then I read a horror novella called Sour Candy, which is a complete 180 in tone. This is a really like fucked up and disturbing story about a man who sees and like witnesses a really loud melodramatic meltdown of a small child in a grocery store who's crying over wanting sour candy, and then later the child is at his house, and that's all I can really say about the story without spoiling it. When I think about this book, my teeth hurt, and that's all I'll say. Then I read all 8 volumes of Positively Yours, and here's the thing. I don't actively recommend this. I think it's like fine, but I also couldn't put it down because I needed to see like what happened. And it's not even like because the drama was like that great, but it was just because I really didn't like the majority of these characters. Like I did not like this main character in her introduction. Like she was genuinely pissing me off because what do you mean? You're a grown woman and you were like, I'm gonna go have a one-night stand, and you didn't bring a condom, aren't on birth control, didn't take a morning after pill, and you had the nerve to be genuinely shocked that you were pregnant from that. What do you mean this blindsided you? How? It also took a while for the romance and her love interest to really grow on me, but by the halfway point, I was kind of rooting for them. Then I read the entirety, all 4 volumes of Marry My Husband, and I'm still actively watching weekly the K-drama. I'd made a video about Marry My Husband and I had to delete it because here's the thing. There were really good conversations being had about the original publication having an Islamophobic like minor subplot that was later edited, and I wanted people who saw the video to see the comment section. The thing is, I was tempted to turn off the comment section because so many people heard me say that this was the craziest, most like messed up thing I've read, and decided to take that as a challenge and flood me with like paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs of the most fucked up things they've ever read. So I was actively deleting stuff and it was freaking me out. Like the content, I wasn't prepared to read on some of the content that they were telling me about. And so I was torn about leaving the video up and then also leaving the comment section up. I didn't want to have to like go to bed and then wake up to hundreds of those really uncomfortable comments. So I opted to pull the video entirely because it was too much stress. But anyways, it seems that the K-drama has fully scrapped and like altered that particular storyline. So I highly recommend the K-drama. The changes they're making the villains like crazier. It's wild. I'm currently reading The Remarried Empress, which only has like 8 published volumes, so that's what's counted here. But it's an ongoing webtoon manhwa. And I have a lot of thoughts about this. I have a lot of thoughts about this whole series and the world building and everything. I think I'm actually going to keep that to myself because it is a very unpopular opinion. Then I read all 8 installments to Unholy Blood, and this was wild. I need this to be adapted to an anime yesterday. This series has some of the most gorgeous, stunning, out of this world dynamic illustration work that I have ever seen in my life. It's beautiful. I was like in awe. Now, as much as I give this series like a strong 4.5, 5-star, this series has some problematic content that I don't think anyone should go in blind. Like, it's gonna be very pro cop. There's a really hot priest in this dystopian vampire borderline apocalyptic setting that has this really weirdly handled ex-military background, and then it has this, which, like, these are side characters that don't even have names that died 2 seconds after this, but still, I still do a double take at this screenshot. So as much as I love it, I'm letting you know right now that it is not perfect by any means, but I do think it's still worth checking out. Then I read The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco by Talia Hibbert, and this is the last book I needed to say that I've read like everything Talia Hibbert's put out, everything that's still currently available. And this was short, sweet, and a good time. I wish it was longer because I think the couple needed a little bit more development, but this book made me crave like a trip to the beach. Then I listened to The Hobbit, but specifically the BBC like theater production. So it's an edited version of the original Hobbit story to be adapted to this radio performance. And this was everything. This was beautiful. There were sound effects and there was singing, and I loved the voice acting work. And this was just delightful. And I think I am going to enter the world of Lord of the Rings. Then I finally read Pride and Prejudice all the way through and finished it, but you already knew that. And I just loved it so much. What the heck? Y'all, Pride and Prejudice is so good. And now I'm currently going down a rabbit hole of just reading and watching every single Pride and Prejudice retelling, adaptation, inspired anything. I'm thriving. Then I read The Viral Underclass, and this is fantastic. This book explores how diseases and viruses not only show how connected we all are as humans, but also highlight the cracks within broken and corrupt systems. And it's great. It's just, I think everyone should read it. I'm currently reading the webtoon for Everything is Fine, which has 2 published things available on Goodreads. So I've counted those 2. But y'all, this is a crazy dystopian thriller mystery that has me on the edge of my seat. Like, this has me genuinely stressed. I also decided to revisit The Cask of Amontillado, this short story by Edgar Allan Poe, because I remember reading it and loving it in high school, but that was like 10 years ago. And you know what? I still love it. And then I closed out my home month with Pride, a modern Pride and Prejudice remix. This retelling follows a young Haitian Dominican teen that is our Lizzie Bennet, who has immense pride for her culture and her roots in the face of gentrification in her neighborhood. And our Mr. Darcy is the young rich kid who just moved in across the street. The literal poetry in this book made me really, really emotional, and it's such a strong retelling and adaptation of the original work. Now, I would have loved some better apologies given to our main character, and I had to remind myself often that these are teenagers that we're talking about, and that's why they keep breaking up and kissing and breaking up and kissing. But ultimately, I fell in love with this book, and it's also so great on audiobook because it's narrated by Elizabeth Acevedo. There's so much passion and heart and warmth in this story, and I loved it, and I'm so excited to continue my journey in the world of Pride and Prejudice adaptations. Yes, I'm already planning on watching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and that was my month.